From scary giant heads washed up on the shore to strange animals seen in some of the things we will look at, our abandoned caves, and even some wild animal encounters you won't forget. Keep going until the end.
Oh my god.
A huge reptile. A guy is filming on the beach in this movie when he comes across something that is really shocking to see right there on the sand so close to where the waves are breaking. There is a huge crocodile head, but the weird thing is that there is no body. The side of the head that's showing is huge, way bigger than you'd expect. It looks like it was cut off clean. I have to say that seeing this crocodile's head is pretty shocking. Crocs don't just hang out in the water, even at the beach by the water. It makes me wonder how it got there. Was there a fierce fight in the wild or something? Something else. I really do find it a little scary and sad. It's not every day. Seeing something like that can make you think about how wild things really are. Things that happen in nature that we don't always understand see. The passage. A man and his friend see it from their point of view in this movie. Have found an inching hole in a wall late at night and are interested, so they decide to look into it. The friend with the flashlight shows the way, and the man with the camera follows They move deeper into the tunnel and stop to look around with the flashlight every so often. Suddenly, they hear something. An unknown two-legged, furry creature jumps out of the cave and runs toward The facts aren't clear because the lights, but it's clear that the animal isn't like any other animal they've seen before. Understandably scared, the two people make a quick and panicked escape, making it out of the cave. This is one of those experiences that is both exciting and a little scary. It makes you wonder what's hiding in the shadows that move when we're not looking. I'm glad they got away safely, but I'm also really interested in what that thing was. Look of being thin. A man is driving in this interesting movie when he comes across a sight that strange and interesting video he took from his car shows a small, thin figure making its way. The figure across the street looks and acts like a person, but it is amazingly small, standing only about 50-60 centimeters, or 20 in, tall. The movie makes it clear that this is not a child. The body is too thin, the measurements are off. More like a small adult than anything else. It's like an adult has been shrunk down by some fantastical machine. The presence of such a being on a normal street is very different from the norm, which naturally leads to a lot of people are wondering where the footage came from and what it is. Doesn't give me clear answers, but it does give me a glimpse into the unusual that challenges my beliefs. I find the video interesting, and I can't stop thinking if this isn't just an of what is possible edit. The animal. The video shows a scary but interesting meeting on a forest path, where a man is in a very dangerous position while being filmed by someone else from a safe distance. The man is standing still with his hands raised as he meets two bears. At this tense moment, one of the bear comes up to the man and seems interested. The bear moves closer and closer. Man, on the other hand, stays and tries to figure out what this human presence means in its natural environment. Impressively well written, knowing that sudden moves could be seen as a threat by the animals in front of him. The bear's sniffing is a key moment in the contact between species, and then the movie cuts off, leaving the resolution open. I'm afraid of accidental meetings. I know that I could run into a bear on a hike, but I don't think anything can get you ready for that moment. I don't know how I would handle meeting these scary animals while enjoying nature. What do you think? Such as worm. You can see something strange and interesting in this movie. Two orange creatures that look like worms are lined up end to end in a circle and moving around in what looks like a microscope. An odd way that's a lot like the way our stomachs move when they push food through from our point of view. These things could be any kind of small bugs. It's kind of strange that microorganisms would use this movement to get around what they're doing in that circle. We don't know what the mystery is because we don't have enough information. It could be part of how they eat and move, or something else. As for me, I find it interesting to see these tiny living things. I have no idea what these things are, and I'd love to know if you could tell me. Find out what they could write in the words of wisdom. Like a skunk. The video shows a collection of interesting pictures that show the images show the remains of an odd animal that was found on the shore of the ocean, with fur placed belly up, showing unique claws and fangs, a sight that certainly sparked interest and maybe even a little mystery from the pictures, and we learned from the story that this strange find was made after a storm, saying that the rough weather may have had something to do with getting the animal to shore. The mention of the fact that experts think it might be a skunk adds an interesting twist to the story, since skunks aren't usually linked to tales with oceanic environments, which makes this explanation both strange and a subject of debate. If you are liking this, subscribe if you like what you see so far. It really helps me keep this channel going. Moving on. The video shows a strange sight that was recorded by a woman from the safety of her own home. This is a strange monster that looks like a cross between a rat and a snake. This strange animal moves along the ground next to a wall like a worm. There are some interesting and disturbing things about the body and movement that remind me of a worm and the tail of a rage. This creature is very strange to look at. Its size is also interesting. It's at least 15 centimeters, 6 in long, and having a sizable thickness, and moving in a way that looks like a worm's motion adds to the intrigue. Concerns about its look. Inside the mosque. What kind of creature is this? I'm sure I've seen something like it before. I can't remember where, but it was around where a video from a security camera inside a mosque shows an interesting and mysterious people dressed in white are seen praying or meditating in this scene. As they sit on their knees and bow their heads in respect, a humanoid shadow appears out of nowhere. Source or reason that makes sense. This shadowy figure grabs our attention as it moves across the room with purpose. The door seems to be its goal. As soon as the figure hits this point, it seems to disappear into thin air, leaving no sign of its presence. The figure of this kind showed up. Makes me think about and ask questions about what it is. One possible explanation is that it could be a jinn, a being from Islamic legend that can change its form, show up in different shapes and sizes, often unnoticeable to the naked eye. What do you think this could be? B. A mysterious bear. The video was taken in a New Jersey parking lot in a private area. Shows a strange and amazing sight that is both confusing and amazing. It's amazing that the guy with the camera was able to record a bear. People have seen a bear walking down the street on 2 legs, much like a person. As the bear walks up to a trash can, it keeps going with an almost carefree attitude. Stay on 2 legs inside the container with the amount of interest and scrutiny that one would expect from a person instead of a wild animal. Even though this study was done like it was by a person, the bear doesn't seem to find anything interesting, so it stands up straight and decides to just move on, keeping to itself. I personally find this movie both funny and a little uplifting. It's a reminder of the amazing things that happen in our world that we don't expect, offer, and the sometimes thin line between people and animals, how people act. Changed cow. Through the movie in question, we can see an amazing and a potentially unsettling scene seen from the back of a truck carrying animals. The person who is shooting has found a creature that at first glance looks like a cow, but upon closer study, it is clear that this is not a cow. Normal cow. The most interesting thing about the animal is its head, which looks like it is split in half by a clear line that separates the head from the tongue and mouth. So when the cow opens its mouth, 2 tongues of this strange physical trait can be seen extending outwards. In an odd way, this makes the animal interesting and leads to a lot of guesswork without knowing much more. Find out the exact nature or cause of this unusual look. It could be, on a personal note, it could be a rare genetic mutation or a disease that most people don't see. I'm sure seeing such a strange animal makes you think of how big and strange nature and its oddities can be, if we saw it in the wild. The power jump. The view from a security camera that looked out over the yard, a house, shows a tense and scary situation. It shows a person armed. They were trying desperately to defend themselves against a strong threat with nothing but a long stick. Quickly gets worse when two bears charge into the yard, but it's not clear what they're after. But their presence is clearly scary. While one of the bears chooses to move on, the other one launches without a word being said. An attack on the person. The bear's strong jump knocks the person to the ground while they recover. That must have been very scary. On a personal note, maybe we shouldn't let their animals into our houses. Dwelling place. Power of Mother Nature. The video shows a terrifying example of how powerful nature can be. When a huge landslide happens, people see the disturbing sight of a lot of rocks and other things falling down. As the pieces of debris are hurled down a slope with great force, the relentless attack is aimed at a metal bridge, a building that one might design to be strong and durable so they can handle different pressures. The collapse, on the other hand, shows that even the strongest structures made by humans can be destroyed. Naturally, the bridge is eventually destroyed by the sheer volume, leaving it open to the forces of nature. Watching this video makes you feel very humble and respect for nature. We can learn from the wreck of the metal bridge how fragile we and our creations are. Feelings of stress. From the point of view of someone, this movie shows a heart-stopping moment, who hiked up a mountain and reached the top. The camera moves to a family with both adults and children were seen in the scene below. Is seen hiking along a path that comes out of the bush from the other side. A bear is seen running toward them, setting the stage for what could be a scary meeting. Despite from a distance, the bear's appearance adds a lot of tension to the scene. As the bear gets closer, as we get closer, the family's response is calm stillness instead of panic. This calm reaction seems to make a big difference in the middle of the forest, where the family is. The bear stops moving toward the group, possibly because of their tranquility, or just got bored after a tight pause, and the bear didn't show any signs of when the family starts moving forward again. They do so carefully and aim to put some space between themselves and the wild visitor. I respect how calm they were during that time. No matter how scared we are, that's what we should all do if we ever find ourselves in this position. In this interesting movie shot on a beach in China, we see a strange and a bit unsettling find. Like gingerbread, the video is shot from the point of view of a man watching someone hold something. Quite strange in his hands at first. It looks like just a pile of mold or moss that looks a lot like gingerbread man. In both shape and thickness, the scene takes a strange turn when the man who is holding the object starts to move, and the pile itself starts to show signs of life. Changes what was thought to be an inanimate item into a living thing, adding a sense of wonder and the supernatural to the whole scene. The video doesn't make it clear right away what kind of creature this is. It makes me think about where it came from and who it is. I've never seen anything like it, but if have any of you ever seen or heard something like this before, please let me know in the words of wisdom. Chicken crossed with a monkey. The video shows a very strange sight. A creature that at first a look that goes against the rules of natural biology, held by a man. What looks like a chicken has the head of what looks like a monkey on it, which is a surprise. Given how strange something is, an anomaly makes us immediately wonder if what we're seeing is real. This creature's doubts easily lead to the idea of video editing, or the idea of using a mask to make this strange visual effect. makes sense. Putting a mask on a chicken is also an odd idea that could lead to I think this movie should be watched with care, because it has a similar effect without the need for digital editing. As an example of how the idea of a chicken with a monkey's head might be used to trick people, see interesting questions that make us think so much about biology and genetics that we need to find a more logical that answer makes sense. If you watched this far, it means you're really into it. Thank you for watching, and if you join and click bell, I'll keep putting these up for you. Have fun. Attacked by sharks. The video shows a peaceful and interesting moment on the ocean that was shot. A man sees a group of dolphins from a boat near a small rocky island. As they flail in the water, they make for a beautiful sight that shows off the beauty and grace of marine life. Is getting closer to get a better look at these beautiful animals when all of a sudden, this peaceful scene is broken. Stopped by a sudden attack. The camera shakes strongly to show that the boat has been hit. It was soon clear that one of the great white sharks was being pushed from behind by an unknown force. The most dangerous predators in the ocean are guilty for this shocking violence. I find the video this is scary, and a warning that even when things are calm, predators are still waiting for us.